Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the big, butch, manly pop culture podcast whose fathers just wanted us to be stronger. I'm Shane Holland.
And I'm Andrew Wheeler.
My lord. Today, this is the most butch I've ever seen you. Cha-cha-cha. Today, we are talking about Masters of the Universe. Again, we loved that movie so much, we're doing it twice. Masters of the Universe 2026, which was just released. It was a film directed by Travis Knight and written by Chris Butler with a story by Aaron Nee, Adam Nee, Alex Litvak, and Michael Finch. This film stars Nicholas Galitzine, Camila Mendes, Idris Elba, Jared Leto, Alison Brie, and Morena Baccarin. It is, of course, based on the 80s cartoon and Mattel toy line. It is the second live adaptation of the beloved property. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It was produced by Amazon MGM with a $200 million budget, and it has so far received mixed reviews from critics. Audiences seem to be loving it, but will they make up for that $200 million? Didn't work with Mandalorian and Grogu, so who knows?
Toys, Shane. Toys and merchandise.
Oh yeah,
Both
we're not making movies for people to see them. We're making movies so children will buy the toys of the movie.
On Amazon. So,
yeah.
They're making their money back.
I can't wait for my 7 action figure set to come in. In this film, Prince Adam, living a humdrum life on Earth, must return to his home planet of Eternia to free it from the evil forces of Skeletor and claim his destiny as He-Man. Andrew, I've asked you in the past, and I'll ask you again, what is your relationship to this work, or what were your first reactions to this Masters of the Universe?
Great question, Shane. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have been looking forward to a new Master of the Universe movie for, at least a couple of decades. Like, it's been talked about as being in production. The first one was supposed to get a sequel. It was supposed to kick off a franchise, the Dolph Lundgren movie.
Did quite the opposite. I think it killed the TV show.
We'll see if this one is more successful. I suspect that even if it isn't blazing up the box office, it will be considered a success for Amazon and will lead to the spin-off and maybe a sequel. We'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic, even though the results are not a bonanza so far. Because this kind of scratched the itch that I wanted it to scratch. This was the He-Man movie that Dolph Lundgren's 1987 version could not deliver. We've been teased and threatened with a new He-Man movie with Noah Centineo in the lead, Kyle Allen, who is a very handsome Heath Ledger-looking type actor. There have been actors cast in the role in the versions of the movie that never got made. So when Nicholas Galitzine was cast, I was like, oh my God, that's one of my favorite boys in the movie I've been waiting for years to do. And even though he seems a little small for it, I'm excited, but this movie's never going to get made. Well, more fool me, the movie finally happened. And it's dumb, it's corny as heck. The jokes are way too self-referential.
But good.
And I had a really great time, and I think it works perfectly. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the results of the film. I famously have seen a He-Man before, and it's not the one that it should have been.
Was it the anti-drugs one? Because that's a classic.
Well, no, I'm referring to Masters of the Universe. I've never seen an actual He-Man. I on the walk back from the theater last night, I said, I don't think I've ever seen an episode of this cartoon. And everyone in our group of 10 people said, what? Anyways,
you're a rare bird, yeah.
I guess, yeah. I don't. What was I watching in the 80s? Well, I was 4 in 1990.
All right.
I was watching Star Trek. I was watching Star Wars.
Grown-up shows.
Yeah, I mean, I was precocious. What can I say?
Grown-up toy lines.
I did have all the toys. This was nothing like the He-Man that I've seen before. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very campy, very funny, visually stunning, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. A lot of green screen, nearly everything green screen. And despite having no frame of reference, I felt nostalgic. And it knew how to hit all of those buttons to make you feel that way. And it did that very successfully. I thought Jared Leto, are we saying Leto?
We don't benefit him with the correct pronunciation.
Jared Leto and Alison Brie were both fantastic. Now, Alison Brie, no surprise, but I can't believe that I'm praising Leto. I guess he spent years being absolutely insufferable, and it turns out it was all method for this part.
Yeah, except it turns out he can be funny as well, and that was a shock.
It really was. God, anytime he delivered a monologue, I laughed quite hard. It was done so well, and it was one of those times where him taking everything seriously paid off because of how campy this film was intended to be, I think. Yeah. I was also reminded how wonderful Nicholas Galitzine is. What's that movie?
Bottoms? You're thinking of Bottoms.
I'm thinking of Bottoms. Yeah. When I first saw him in that, I was like, oh, I love this man. I want him in everything. Thought he was 100% gay in real life. Turns out, maybe not. Didn't think he would make as perfect a He-Man as he did. But when he revealed those arms, my jaw hit the floor. Oh my God, strangle me, daddy. And also, he sells this fish out of water character so perfectly. He has that doe-eyed look about him where he can sell you lovelorn, he can sell you angry and furious and excited. Like he's so expressive, and I can't believe that this movie is going to be the vehicle that propels him further into stardom. But here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, he's got a bit of the Princess Diana's about him. You know, he can be very he can emote through his eyes very well. He's so pretty. I mean, we'll discuss that in great length.
Yes.
Well, a great length will be involved.
Yes.
But yeah, Nicholas Galitzine absolutely has cemented his star status. Even the negative reviews are coming away saying, but he's good.
Except for The Guardian, which hated him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Guardian's got a lot of hometown tall poppy syndrome going on with its whole attitude, frankly. And go sit in the corner. Yeah, Nicholas Galitzine absolutely is a sensational He-Man, and he's a really talented actor. Like if you see him in Mary and George, you see him in he's elevated some really schlocky material in the past, including that musical Cinderella that he was in with the other Camila Cabello.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. He's played a lot of princes. This is only his latest in many princes. Prince Adam, Prince Henry, Prince Charming. He's born to be a prince. And he actually technically is because he's descended from Russian royalty, apparently.
There it is. Nepo
some
baby.
Things you can't fight. Yeah. You can't fight it. Droit de Seigneur, the lineage, it speaks for itself.
It's that Habsburg lips of his. Oh
no, we got that fixed if we had one.
I will say, major criticism of the film, lots of time spent with children. A good chunk of the opening is just children.
What are children doing in this toy advert? It's outrageous.
God, honestly, this is for adults.
Yes.
And to be honest, I could have spent more time on Earth.
Yeah, that's a wild thing for someone whose only previous experience of Master of the Universe is the Master of the Universe film that everyone hates for taking place on Earth.
Look, I thought that film got some things right, and sometimes you need things to happen in relation to things that you know. Where was Courtney Cox?
I did enjoy the Earth sequence.
Where was Robert Duncan McNeil?
It's fair questions. I'm sure they'll cameo in the next one if there is one.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised actually that they couldn't get Courtney Cox in, or that they didn't want to get Courtney Cox in. It would have been funny to see her, and more unexpected than the cameo that we did get,
Yes.
complete with "Good Journey,"
Hmm.
which did make me chuckle heartily.
Yes, that was very good. And we're saying that's not from the cartoon.
It's not from the cartoon.
Okay.
No. There are things in this movie that are taken from the other movie, and that blew my mind, honestly.
Yeah.
Not just the cameo, but yeah,
Both
But, I mean, we'll spoil some things.
Okay, another criticism I have. There's some weird pacing in this film because two of our who don't usually fall asleep during films in the theater, at least. I'm not talking about your couch, Andrew. I am very wont to fall asleep at your place. Two of us who don't usually fall asleep in the theater both nodded off at the exact same point in the film. I right midway, I had a glorious 3-minute nap, and I woke up and noticed that I had missed nothing.
Yeah, that was the section in the forest, right?
Yep. Yeah. We
Things
had a lot of
down.
action, and it had kept building, and then boy did we plummet back down to the forest floor for a while.
I mean, I can see why they think we needed that, but on the other hand, the whole movie is a sugar rush. So, like, as soon as you pull the sugar out, people are gonna crash.
Yeah, truly, literally. The best bits I thought were Skeletor's monologues, nods to a show I've never seen but instantly understood, and nods to a movie I have seen and had forgotten instantly. So that was really fun.
And I think the best bits were Nicholas Gallatin's lips, Nicholas Gallatin's shoulders, Nicholas Gallatin's abs, Nicholas Gallatin's thighs.
The promise
Honestly,
of what's underneath that loincloth.
Shall we get into our categories?
Yeah, let's talk about the women first. What did you think of some incredible women?
I did have to apologize to you for the lack of Courtney Cox. It honestly didn't occur to me that she could have been a cameo until you leaned over during the movie. Like, where is she?
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, now I think that was a missed opportunity.
Truly.
But there are tremendous female characters in this movie. 3 kick-ass female heroes. Well, one of them does not kick ass. 4 female kick-ass heroes if you count the robot, who I suppose we do count as also a female character.
Mm-hmm.
I think she uses she, her pronouns. The sorceress does not get to kick any ass, really, but she does get to glow a lot.
Be absolutely stunning.
Yeah, Morena Baccarin looking gorgeous, looking absolutely stunning, looking stoic. And that's kind of her whole vibe in the movie, is to like, occasionally she'll flash some light.
That's kind of honestly her whole vibe in everything she's in.
Yeah, I mean, at least she didn't have to stand still, rotting slowly inside a crystal chandelier. I don't know. So yeah, lots of heroic, cool women. Only one evil woman, and we know she's evil. It's in the title. Right. Evil Lynn. Mm-hmm. But Alison Brie stealing every scene she's in. I mean, up against Jared Leto's Skeletor. She is so funny with not just in the dialogue, but the looks she gives. She has an eye roll at one point when Skeletor is talking about being like the ultimate man, and she's just, it's so well pitched. She looks amazing.
Yes.
The short blonde hair, which, well, we don't want to use that word, but we might have to.
Yeah, I did write it in my notes, and I should flash a warning right here. But she does have an absolutely cunty bob.
She does have a cunty bob. and we live for that. Yeah, I absolutely hope Alison Brie gets way more respect out of this movie, because she's a great comedic actor.
Yeah, she plays Arch so well, and she's done it a number of times now, and every time it feels like increasing stakes for her. This was the epitome of that, and I thought she was so camp, and she looked so good. We will get to the fashion, but that headpiece with the bob sticking out underneath and that flowing gown was just such a statement. And then to have the chops underneath it all, like to not just be an outfit, but to make me genuinely laugh throughout the film. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Camila Mendes also in this, and as Tila, right? Who has
Yes.
another name.
She was Tila in the last film as well, and Tila in this film.
Okay. She gets to do
those characters, Duncan and Tila in the last movie, are also Man-at-Arms and Tila in this movie. Those are some of the only characters that are in both.
Wow. It's so hard to tell which film does it better when you've never seen the source material. Look, Tila is incredible. She gets to do all of the ass kicking in this film, and she was thoroughly enjoyable, especially when she friend zones our handsome lead.
Yes, a great moment that let some of the tension out, honestly. I'm so bored of straight people in films.
Yeah, we don't need everyone to fall in love just because they are the headliners.
Honestly.
Kristen Wiig, a wonderful surprise. Didn't know it was her until her name flashed in the credits, and our friend Grant and I looked at each other and we were like a true shock moment.
Right. How did this voice actor get me to feel so much for this giant robot and love her and laugh with her and want to be her? And it's like, well, it was Kristen Wiig.
It was Kristen Wiig.
Of course it was Kristen Wiig. Yeah, she's great. Another scene stealer in the movie.
The character's name is Roboto?
Roboto, yes.
Missed opportunity for Roberta, right?
or
Domo Arigato.
Or Miss Roboto.
Honestly, I was expecting Roboto to have a good fight scene and them play Domo Arigato. Yeah, that would have been. It felt missed. I guess they're saving it for the sequel.
Yeah, maybe she gets a husband, and that's when we meet Mr. Roboto. She's Roboto, and he's Mr. Roboto. Inverting the old Pac-Man thing.
Yeah.
Another woman who surprised me just by her presence in the movie, Christiane Bettridge as Diane. A character that does not exist, as far as I'm aware of, in cartoons or comics or video games or toys. They added an extra female character just, I think, to flesh out the diversity of the heroes a little bit. I wish she had had some sort of weird gimmick. We have Fisto and we have Ram Man, and why couldn't she have been, I don't know, spinning woman, because that's the thing she ultimately does great, is spinning with her guns in hand. She's I loved that character. I loved that she was added to the movie. I love that she got one of the best action moments in the whole movie. So I just wish that she'd had some cheesy gimmick attached to her.
Yeah, a name would have gone a long way into making her feel like a true part of the team, because even I could tell, oh, this character isn't one of the original characters, surely.
Yeah. She's too normal.
She's too normal. The bully who pushes him into the closet, we all have one of those, Andrew.
I apologized.
Let's talk about, I don't know if you'll have much to say, but the boys.
Oh, the boys. Okay. Let me remember the boys in this film. Nicholas Galitzine, I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
He is.
Wow.
He's a precious baby angel. He's the prettiest princess. He's the most beautiful meerkat man. These little cutesy eyes and Cupid's bow lips. And yeah, he got in shape for this movie. I mean, he was always in shape. You watch Red, White, and Royal Blue, he's a dream come true. But for this, he had to transform himself in a wild way. And he's already talked about how in the sequel to Red, White, and Royal Blue, which they shot just after this, he's like, well, Prince Henry has hit the gym in the second movie because he could not lose that mass that quickly. So, yeah. Though he does seem to be able to put it on and take it off pretty well. He got big fast. He's never managed to get back quite to the twunk that he used to be, but I believe he will continue to enjoy having muscles for some time to come. Yeah, Nicholas Galitzine. I feel like I first fell for Nicholas Galitzine sort of out of a sense of obligation. He's very pretty and he keeps playing gay roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if I'm attracted to him or not. He's just there in the cosmos of beautiful men. But the more adept he's proven to be and the more interesting the roles he's chosen to take on, the more that it's sort of just become a full-on crush. He's so good. He's genuinely very funny, very charming in real life. And he is beautiful. Like, I can't fight it. He's so pretty.
He really is. It's the lips, it's the eyes, it's the ears. The wig was something else, and I
You're
refuse to
sticking
be
to your guns
told.
on the wig.
I refuse to be told that that is his actual hair. There's no way. It just doesn't sit on him correctly. But even with that, he looks amazing. His body is insane. And he just seems so nice. And he's
Yes.
such an ally to the queer community.
Yeah.
I was truly shocked when he came out as straight. I could not believe it.
It was a hard day for a lot of us.
Yeah, I said, "Are you sure? Is this just a phase? Do you want to talk to a priest?" Yeah, could have helped.
Josh O'Connor, maybe?
Truly revelatory performance. He was emotional, uplifting, he was funny. He was the backbone of this film, and for me, he sold it. For me, he made this film worth the price of admission, worth watching, made it as entertaining as it was.
But he's not the only hunk in this movie. This movie is full of very large men.
Yes.
Large men who spend a lot of time at the gym.
Idris Elba.
Any favourites? Well, Idris Elba, yes. Daddy.
Quite daddy. Spends most of the time reeking of piss, so they tell us. Idris Elba takes everything so seriously. And thank God it works here. He really went to the extreme on playing the drunk father, washed up hero. It was very believable. And
right.
Yeah. It was a great arc that they gave the character, and to see him come back into himself in such a positive way was nice.
Yeah, I was watching his arc and thinking, well, I was thinking after the movie, did they earn it? Like, he goes from being a drunk to returning to his glory, basically. And I thought, well, what did he do to earn that? Well, he reconciled with family and he faced past traumas head on. Okay, no, that's pretty good, actually.
Yep, yeah. That's kind of what we do, yeah.
That sounds familiar, so...
And he also gave himself a haircut, so that really helps. That goes a long way.
Huge.
Yeah. Mental health is just that easy to overcome.
It's 80% haircut. Yeah.
It really is.
It's why I'm uncurable.
It's always great to not see Leto's face.
Yes, that was a big help to his winning performance.
Yeah, truly. None of that smarm, none of that side-eye, none of the long, greasy hair, just a skull mask, which is how I actually envisage him.
Pretty accurate. And great animation on the two little red dots that are his eyes.
Yes.
Like, they were so expressive. And so, I mean, it must have been motion capture, presumably on Leto himself. But I don't know how you motion capture eyeballs. I assume there's a way. Because they did it. They did it brilliantly. And it was so effective and very funny over and over again.
Also, great physics on the actual jaw of the Skeletor face. It didn't just go up and down, it moved side to side, which added this both comic and creepy layer to the performance.
He is a man with a skeleton face. So, you know, lean into it.
Yeah. I have to mention...
Call out a couple of other daddies.
The daddy for me was Johannes Hawker Johannesson playing the role of Fisto. I loved this man. So many good fisting jokes, and he was so hot, very rugged. What those fists do, sir.
I mean, it would take a lot to find out, but I feel like you're willing to do the work, so...
I don't know, I'm getting older, but I have definitely seen some people online who would and could.
Yeah, it would probably be a bit like sticking a whole watermelon in a chicken.
Yeah.
Things will break.
Yeah.
yeah. Fisto, they did not shy away from Fisto as a character. They did, and even managed to throw in a giving head joke for Ram Man. So beautiful.
Well done.
Terrible and beautiful.
Well done. They know their audience.
I love that Ram Man was He-Man's favorite, or was Adam's favorite. You know, this short bullet of a man.
A short king, come on.
Short king. Mechanic, I knew from I knew from just this part of his face that he was hot. I could tell that was a handsome man. So I looked up pictures of his Instagram, and sure enough, he's a bit Jesus looking, but he's a hot Jesus.
What's his name?
Abs for days. James Wilkinson is his name, which is the most generic name possible.
I'm pulling him up now. Oh my. Okay, that you could not tell underneath those triangle eyes that's who is there. Good
But
Lord.
I knew there was something.
Once again, you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I hate the character of Mechanic. I just want to say, it is disturbing. Absolutely vile. What a horrible power. It was such a turnoff.
It is weird for that to be the limb that you choose, your head. I mean, I guess he mustn't have chosen it. It must have been a result of an accident or something. But yeah, like long, extendy fists, sure. But just your head? And you have to throw your whole head into the middle of battle? That's a toy, Mama. That's not a tactical choice.
I guess that's true. Yeah. It was just so weird to look at. And like, of all the body parts you could extend. Anyways.
I mean, given the precedent that had been set by other heroes, I want to call out one last of the villains, actually, among the boys. Not because he was hot, he wasn't. But the fact that Karg, the gremlin-y sort of purple guy, well, bluish purple guy with white hair, with a giant shock of white hair, he's one of the like 4 main hench dudes of Skeletor in this. And he was in the 1987 Masters of the Universe as one of the 4 main hench dudes in that as well. And he's not from the toys or the comics or the cartoon. He is from that movie. They brought back literally an original character from the movie and made him part of this canon. And that I was agog, honestly, to see him back. I was like, this must be a mistake. Someone's misjudged it. No, it's real. That's Karg. God bless. Honestly, it tickled me.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that was surprising. Let's talk about the music.
And an equally surprising cameo.
This was a great soundtrack. My 2 favorite songs, I think, are probably going to be the songs that you shout out because I think they're the only actual songs in the film.
Well, there are a couple of diegetic moments, and then there are a couple of non-diegetic moments.
Right. Boys Don't Cry being the theme song of the first half of this film was surprising, and I loved it.
Thesis statement. There was a beautiful, like, twinkly version that I was listening to thinking, I know this tune. Why can't I name this tune? And then they kicked into it. Yeah.
Yeah, really beautiful. Well done. I don't know if we ever really strongly come back to the thesis statement. I guess there's a moment. Yeah, okay. It does come back. But I would have liked the song to have come back.
Right. It would be difficult in the situation where he does cry for that particular melody to play, I feel like. But hey, they got away with stranger things in this movie. We do get a 4 non-blondes what's up element, which happens while he is head thrown back and laughing, going through a rainbow portal.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is a reference to the meme that everyone loves of Adam doing this, laughing. 4 non-blondes playing. So that was very literal. Very, very literal. Yeah. So there are some good needle drops, but not in the context of action so much, especially in the first half of the movie.
Well, the latter half, we get Princes of the Universe from Queen.
Yes.
Which felt so on the nose that I had to look it up. Like, was this song written for He-Man, like the show, or Masters of the Universe? It was not.
No. I mean, I'm sure Freddie Mercury was a fan, you know?
Yeah, I wonder why. We'll get to that.
And yeah, Brian May was on the soundtrack for this movie, so there is that very on-the-nose Flash Gordon reference here. Like, Flash Gordon has one of the great movie soundtracks by Queen, and this movie owes a lot to Flash Gordon. And yeah, it was nice of it to pay tribute in that way, to have a Queen track that sort of bridged the gap between beautiful blonde himbos.
Yeah. I thought the Brian May guitar for added nostalgia was a great choice. And it
Yeah.
just fit the entire film. There wasn't a point where I thought that it was distracting in a bad way. I knew it was Brian May. Like, you could hear
Right.
it almost immediately, but it felt correct.
Yeah, yeah. And then over the closing credits, we get another song with a similar title, Masters of the Universe. This one
Mm.
is written for the film, performed by the Darkness, who I have not heard from nigh on 20 years, it feels like. I didn't even know they were still a thing, but it makes some level of sense. They are very much a Queen tribute. Not a Queen tribute act in the sense of pub act, but a Queen act, an act that is in tribute to Queen.
Yes, I understand what you mean by that. Yes.
And yeah, that felt right and proper as well to have them singing an actual Master of the Universe song, and I enjoyed that song too.
Yeah, it
So
was
yeah,
good.
the music was really solid, and all the synth scoring throughout, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And the TV theme song, we got the TV theme song right at the end.
Okay. I thank you for pointing that out. I would never have known. It did feel out of place. Yes, I get it now. I've seen The Mandalorian and Grogu a couple of times now. And you were just talking about synth, and the person who I saw it with most recently, when that like very heavy synth track starts playing on the Blade Runner planet, the person looked at me and said, "What is this? I hate this." And that is an example of when the synth doesn't match the tone of the film. Here, the synth was like expected, right? It was earned.
Yes, absolutely. And to cement that, we got the other cameo that I mentioned from the 1987 film, a shot of Gwildor in
Yeah.
neon relief playing some sort of weird guitar synth machine,
Hate it.
a tribute to his cosmic key. Howled. I've never been pleased to see Gwildor before, but this time I was like, oh, this is earned. This is fun.
Gwildor! Shouted no one ever. I want the Gwildor toy. Let's talk about the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start off with Evil Lynn, because we've already talked about her. The black gown, the black headpiece, and the short blonde cunty bob. Really incredible look. She has a staff, right? Another incredible staff, because a villain without a staff is meaningless.
Like a plasma ball at the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really elegant, simple. I like that we didn't try to throw in color. Like, she is Evil Lynn. That's all she is.
Yes. They didn't try to make her sort of slightly jaundiced chartreuse, which Evil Lynn is in the cartoon, but they did give her immaculate makeup that made her sort of very pale and stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked gorgeous. Loved Evil Lynn. I think there have been a lot of jokes online about how this movie is going to be an awakening for a new generation of gays, not just because of Nicholas Galitzine, though. It has to be equal credit to Alison Brie's Evil Lynn.
Oh, yeah.
Boys are going to want to be her for Halloween and for Christmas.
Or they're going to want to be the biblically accurate eagle, Morena Baccarin, as the sorceress.
Yeah, I loved the use of her colors, the blue and the bronze and the white. So stunningly executed in her gorgeous cape and in her bird form.
The cape. I wanted that cape so
was
bad.
Great. It's a shame that cape cannot exist.
Honestly, the way that that blue, green, brown color just kind of like appeared towards the hemline and shimmered in the light. Oh my God. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it.
I will say I slightly missed Frank Langella's black Skeletor armor from the 87 film. This movie was more accurate, and of course it was. Like, it was always leaning into bringing the cartoon and the toys to life on the screen. So we didn't get a tribute to Langella's goofy black armor or the giant gold mask that he gets to wear in the final act of that movie. But we do get an accurate Skeletor with the absurdity of his giant muscle body that is like some kind of suit. Surely,
That was shocking.
the, the muscles on Skeletor.
Yeah. Uh, I should not have been as turned on as I was by that.
I wonder what they like. If they were going to be completely accurate to the toys, they would have scanned Nicholas Galatzin's body to use for Skeletor, because those toys had the same exact mold.
Right.
So they were completely identically built little nuggets of men. So yeah, I want to see Nicholas Galatzin's body scan, please, on Jared Leto's skull face.
I don't need the latter part of that. I just need the Nicholas Galatzine body scan.
Yeah, available now from all good shops.
Yeah, speaking of fashion and Skeletor, that bit at the end that is kind of a dream sequence, kind of a
Wild.
DMT induced like pre-death. Anyways, we don't need to get into the spoilers of it all. The Skeletor looks in different timelines and places were insane, and I loved all of them. Particularly Skeletor in office wear was just so hilarious and so tight on that body. And then there's also the gym wear, which was sexy, and he seemed more lithe, and he had the cutout so that you could almost see the nipples, which I don't know if I want to see Skeletor's nipples, and like a little hood. It was very gym rat behavior.
I mean, that's another great Halloween costume. Gym Bro Skeletor. Make a note.
Making a note. Just typing this down with my pen. Yeah, really incredible. I thought that was a fun way to show us different looks.
I will say, I wish the sets of this movie had been on a par with Barbarella and Flash Gordon. Like, those are two movies where the real built sets, I think both at Pinewood, were absolutely extraordinary. And I think they probably filmed a bunch of this. Well, actually, they didn't need Pinewood to film any of this, because they filmed it all against a green screen.
Yeah.
And that took away a lot of the magic from me, and the design was not anywhere close to up to, like, it's a beautiful looking movie with some beautiful scenery, incredible grand
real.
sets.
Yeah.
But none of it looks real, and that's so lacking. And even some of the sets, like the throne room, Skeletor's throne room, didn't feel anything like Ming the Merciless's throne room or the evil tyrant's weird setup. Like, it didn't have the same point of view of those other movies, and that was a letdown.
Yeah, when everything is green screen, it just takes away from personality. It felt like this was cooked up in an AI lab, you know?
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate, because it could have been so good. I mean, God, once again, credit to Master of the Universe 1987. Like, at least that was all practical. Like, there was so little blue screen in that film. The vehicles, you know, that like the actual built vehicles during those chase sequences would have been great. Obviously, like, you can't have the obviously they're fantastic. They're not realistic, but having some kind of piece of it that was real would have felt good, because instead it's just like Nicholas Galatzine hopping from one block to another and looking a little like he doesn't belong in anything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I know where I put him.
Speaking of, let's dive into the queerness of this film. It was there.
He-Man is an inherently queer property because of its generational influence.
Mm-hmm.
I think while we were not in a crowded theatre, we were in a theatre that I think was maybe 80% gay men, and not just because of the people we came to the theatre with.
We were a large group.
We were about half the audience, probably. But yeah, like, I saw gay couples, other gay people coming in to see that movie. It is part of our culture. It's on Tom of Finland's tribute T-shirts, and it's there in a lot of the fetish community. Honestly, like, there's an interplay there.
Yeah, He-Man is homoerotic by nature, right? I mean, this is a muscular blonde wearing a harness and a loincloth. I don't think I need to say any more.
Yeah, it's a good look. And having Nicholas Galitzine in that look with his just resting flexed abs, it's just...
The way that he looks down at his own body is the way, I mean, what an audience surrogate.
Really, honestly. Yeah, like it is going to be an awakening. I think it might have reawakened some things in me even,
Yeah, reawakened. Yeah. I will also add that Alison Brie's presence queers the film as well. Exactly as you were saying, that I mean, gays love an evil witch, right?
Yeah.
There's just that's part of our DNA. The Disney villainification of queer identities has made it so that I relate to bad characters, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's why you poisoned all those children.
Yeah, well, they know what they did. There's also lots of men talking about other men's swords and fisting and giving head.
Skeletor straight up crushes on He-Man in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's lusty about He-Man and the sword between his thighs. It's, the subtext has become text in this film.
Yeah, I feel like one of the positives out of all of this is that I think the filmmakers know that a lot of the remaining He-Man audience must be gay men who grew up in the 80s. Like, that's that and a bunch of straight men who must be questioning something at this point in their life.
One of the writers, and I think it's the final credited, or certainly the one that was at the premiere, he's a gay man, and I saw him on the press line talking about like how important this character is to him as a gay man. And so, yeah, it's
wonderful.
It's not co-optive. It is actually coming from family. The queerness is in the room.
Good. That's so nice, because there's so many times we talk about a film that should have been queer, that should have had a queer moment, or at least been indirectly queer. And this movie, it felt like it was all there without having an actual queer or an outspokenly queer character. There are characters who I can see might be queer, but this is also a children's movie. And the only potential romantic relationship was shut down mid-film in a way that doesn't usually happen in these films, which felt nice.
Yeah. Adam is bad with women, which is cute, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that his relationship with Tila is platonic is great. Like, let's teach that lesson to boys. It doesn't, he's told to back off and he backs off. And that's it for the rest of the movie. But I did think we were missing out on something with, like, Ram Man and Fisto. I mean, that bond could have been closer. There could have been a look, a glance, a statement, a baby. Hey, baby, why don't you give those guys head?
I was like, a baby? We don't need them to be fathers.
No.
Yeah. Not
the
Fisto.
The last thing I want is for gay men to have children. Honestly, there are too many children. Save it. Get
Honestly,
a dog. And
why wasn't Fisto and Ram Man in a relationship? That's crazy. There's your opportunity.
It's so natural.
Sequel. Come on, sequel. I hope that writer that you're talking about is hearing this. I'm speaking directly to you. You need to make them gay for each other.
Yes. And they're both hot men,
Yeah.
That'd be a cute couple.
Well, Andrew, we have talked a lot about this film. I think it's time that we give it a score. On this show, we award the film a base score out of 5. And then we award it a gay score based on the 5 points that we just talked about: women, boys, music, fashion, and queerness. There is an opportunity to give the film a penalty if it is particularly egregious in some way, i.e. sexism, racism, homophobia, and then we combine that to give it our patented KKBB score. Andrew, what are you giving this film out of 5?
There was a very real chance, and I went into the movie thinking there's a very real chance that this would be a 5-star movie for me. It's not quite that. I had a really great time. I'll watch this film again. So scenes of it I will watch over and over in a loop.
I
But
think I know which ones.
it's an imperfect movie. Like it's very funny. It's very self-aware, maybe a little too self-aware at points, and the pacing is off, and the style is. I mean, we'll get to the style, but like the fact that it isn't Barbarella or Flash Gordon, those are well, Barbarella's a 5. This has to be a 4 from me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I had a really good time. I loved the experience of this movie. I don't know how quickly I'll be rushing back to watch it again because I know that I'm going to fall asleep in the middle of it.
It might be a home view next time. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it a 4 as well. It is better than average, but there are things that really detract from it. Particularly, I'm thinking the CGI and that pacing,
CGI and the child.
child, a lot of the child.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about bonus points. How do you feel about the women in this film? Are they getting a point?
I could have used maybe like one more or Deanne having a gimmick, obviously. But yeah, we've got Evil Lynn, and that would get the point even if no one else showed up, I think.
Yeah, and adding Tila
But they do show up.
and the sorceress in there, I have to give the women a point. And Roboto, not Roberta. I just want to say Roberta. It's right
I get
there.
it. It's a great name.
The boys, God, I don't know. Yeah.
Boy, yeah,
I'm absolutely giving Nicholas Gallatin a point. And then there's the music. I guess this could have been a potential, like, I wasn't really into it, but I loved the music choices.
Yeah, I think it's a really great score. It's a score where I noticed the score, but not in a way that grated, like in a way that I was like, oh, I'm enjoying this. I'm bopping along to this. Great original song, which is always a clincher for me. And yeah, some great needle drops in there as well. Definitely gets the point.
The fashion, I mean, it was accurate to the cartoon and it was done well. And I really loved what the ladies were wearing. Even Tila.
Yeah.
Who we didn't talk about her fashion, but I mean, she has a great, like, she gets a classic action kick-ass suit, and I appreciated that too.
Yeah, this one's a nail biter. It's, I don't know, it because the CGI
it's the CG
is
of it,
so
right?
in your face.
Yeah,
that's what makes me hesitate.
Nothing feels real enough outside of the costumes.
Yeah,
and there's no identity to Eternia, it felt like. You know how they go to that underground city or hanging city?
Right.
It's like, I couldn't tell you what I saw in that city. I know that they were there for a long time, but that it has no identity to me. And Eternia is ruins, and they spend a good, quarter to a third of the film there. Yeah, it feels weird, but I'm going to withhold the fashion point.
I hear you. The thing that's screaming in my head is the harness of it all, the verite of it all to the cartoon and to the toys. But
I can tell you I'm shifting
original.
my harness to another category.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to withhold it because, they didn't really bring anything new. It looked great where they did convert the toys to the screen. The design of the villains was amazing, was so good. But ultimately, it's the sets that bring it down for me.
Yeah. Speaking of harnesses, I have to give this film a queer point. It was so present without being spoken. And, I've said many times, it needs to be in the text. It needs to be on the screen for me to award a queer point. And I genuinely feel like it was in this weird way where I don't feel like I'm being generous or forgiving of this film. Is that crazy of me?
It's a little unhinged, but
yeah.
I'll allow it. Yeah, I was havering on this point because the reason I would ultimately give it a queer point is knowing that there was a queer writer involved. It means that all of the references and the shout outs and the tributes were not accidental. They were all conscious. And that, I think, is what tips it over to me to me giving it a queer point, is knowing that I was there on the screen. Like, they saw me and I saw them, and we nodded across the bar and said, yes, we are the same.
Good journey.
Good journey.
they all did something different, right? Like one of them did this and one of them did this.
Yeah,
There was no
it's
direction in that
iconic.
film. Yeah. Okay, so that gives us, but we both give this a gay score out of 4, or 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
And we've given it a base score of 4 out of 5. Are we going to give this film a penalty?
I see no reason to do so.
We punished it enough for the fashion, I think. That was the penalty right there.
So. I think so. I will say the very few people die in this movie. Moss Man unfortunately kicks it and is played by a black actor. So the one person that dies is a black actor, but he's also a green Moss Man.
Yeah, yeah. And like I mean, there was a black father and a mixed daughter, which I don't feel we often see on film. And yeah, there were other black characters. I was fine with Moss Man going. I had no idea, to be honest, that was played by a black actor.
That's fair. That's fair. He's worth looking up, though, because, again, huge man.
Huge jacked man.
Huge jacked man, yes.
So that's 8 out of 10. I mean, truly, for queer cinema, that makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, no notes. I think this is a great film to enjoy at the theatre, and I think people should go check it out. And there are three post-credit scenes.
That's too much.
The third one is actually
that should be
the least interesting.
Yeah.
yeah. The third one is not really worth sticking around for.
I forgot what the third one was. Tell me offline.
And this is where there's a mea culpa from me, Shane, because I forgot that there's a post-credit scene in the 1987 He-Man, and we didn't watch it.
What?
But yeah, at the end of the credits, Skeletor rises out of like a bubbling ooze and laughs.
I just remembered what the post-credit scene is in this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So,
well, go see this film, give them your money, help Amazon. They're really struggling.
They're so poor.
They need your money. We didn't talk about the Amazon cameo. That should actually be the penalty right there. Because if we get a fucking Amazon cameo like that in my Bond film, I will riot. I don't care if I do it alone.
Yeah. Denis Villeneuve, do not allow it.
Please say no. It's going to happen. I have to set my expectations. Okay, if you enjoyed this and you want to see us talk about the last Masters of the Universe, you can by subscribing, liking, following, sharing, telling your friends, and then going through our archive and seeing all of the other stuff that we have done for you. Please. Thank you for watching. Until next time, kiss.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.